Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1163B, and today's date is December 27th, 2016, and the title of the episode is Erdogan Points Finger and Accuses the U.S.-led coalition of supporting the Islamic State. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. I placed an interview on the X22 Report Spotlight with Louis Camersano. You can go over to YouTube, type in X22 Report Spotlight. It should bring you right to the video. Or you can come over to the X22Report.com site, scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side. You'll see the video there. Or you can go to newssentinel.com. Same thing, scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side, and you can play the video there. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, we know the government and the various agencies, they've been spying on the people, and they do believe that it is legal to do this, and it doesn't matter what law they set up, the USA Freedom Act or the Patriot Act, because those don't override the Fourth Amendment. That is the law of the land, and they want everyone to believe that if they create another law, well, that overrides the different rights of the people. Well, it does not. And when we're looking at Facebook, we see Facebook has been handing out information to the government because they receive requests. And according to Facebook's Global Government Request Report, government requests for Facebook account data rose 27% in the first half of 2016. At least 56% of these requests, Facebook said that it contained a non-disclosure order that prohibited Facebook from notifying the user. Also, Facebook used its report to disclose for the first time what the company does when law enforcement agencies request a snapshot of the user's account that might be relevant to law enforcement for undisclosed reasons. These preservation requests, as they are known, are requests to preserve data pending receipt of formal legal process. They are often processed by social media websites as snapshots, which are preserved temporarily, according to Facebook. And according to Facebook, the company does not disclose any of the preserved records unless and until they receive formal and valid legal process. So in the first half of 2016, Facebook received 38,675 preservation requests regarding 67,129 accounts, which is a lot of requests. And we see that Facebook is still insisting that they do not give law enforcement any backdoors to user information, but we know that these do exist. And we see right now that Facebook also states that as a result of transparency reforms introduced this year by the USA Freedom Act, our report also contains additional information concerning national security letters. These NSLs are extraordinary search procedures that give the FBI the power to compel the disclosure of customer records held by banks, telephone companies, internet service providers, and others. They are extraordinary because detailed information can be surrendered without proper oversight, an issue that has led to countless cases of abuse. And we see right now this USA Freedom Act, it allows companies to hand over information without any type of warrant. And again, this was put into place to help the government spy on the people because they realize that these social media platforms, corporations, they have the data of the people. Why spy on the people when you can get all the information from the companies? And this is why the USA Freedom Act was created. Because at the time when they were caught spying on the people, they said they were going to do an overhaul and stop this. Well, all they did was shift everything over to the corporations, and the government just requests the information, and they can say, well, hey, we're not spying on the people. We're just requesting all this information. Well, pretty much it's the same exact thing. But again, we know why they're spying on the people. They want to know what everyone is up to. They want to know where the funds are. They're looking into what everyone is doing. We see out in Ukraine, Putin has turned on the gas for Crimea via the pipeline that they built, because we understand that Kiev shut off the electricity and the gas going into Crimea. So Russia decided, you know something, we're going to create this pipeline that stretches about 358.7 kilometers from Russia right into Crimea. And right now they're receiving electricity and they're receiving gas at the same time. We see Iran, they plan to build an aircraft carrier. They want to boost their naval warfare capabilities. And of course, the United States government, central bankers, they're going to make a very big deal about this. But all these countries understand where everything is headed. They understand that the U.S. government, central bankers, they're going to continually provoke war and push war until they get war started. And they understand that they need to defend themselves when this war starts. And this is why you see countries ramping up now, because every time the United States makes a move and they move, troops and assets closer to Russia, closer to China, the countries are going to look at this and say, well, why is this happening right now? We need to beef up our military. If China and Russia were placing missiles in Canada and Mexico, what do you think the United States would do at that point? They would start to beef everything up, and they get, the officials would be very worried. They wouldn't understand why this is happening, and they would be lashing out at these countries saying, why are you placing these missiles so close to our country? And of course, this is exactly what NATO and the United States is doing with China, Russia, throughout the Middle East. And countries are getting worried. We see the U.S. commander in Iraq, they're saying there's going to be a fresh Mosul offensive, which is going to begin in days. And we know there's 5,000 U.S. military personnel on the ground, on the front lines, ready to go. So we have boots on the ground, and they're ready for the fight. And most likely it's to protect the Islamic State, protect what is going on there, protect the information, and move the Islamic State to different locations. We see that Turkey is continuing its invasion in northern Syria. And we also see that by Obama signing the NDAA, well, he's going to allow the terrorist groups, the moderate rebels, whatever you like to call them, they're just terrorists, to have anti-aircraft missiles. And Russia is warning any attempt by Obama to arm the rebels, the terrorist groups, it will be seen as a hostile act. Now, you know what's going to happen if they actually receive this type of hardware. They're going to use it on Syrian jets. They're going to use it on Russian jets. And we might see World War III break out from this. So we could see that Obama is taking the next step. He even created the executive order, which allows these groups to receive more advanced weaponry. We see Erdogan right now, well, he's pointing the finger at the U.S. and the U.S.-led coalition, saying, well, he has absolute proof that the U.S.-led coalition is supporting terrorist groups in Syria. Well, it has begun. We see Erdogan is now pointing the finger at the U.S. The U.S. will be pointing the finger at Erdogan. And we know for a fact, because we've been looking into this, we've been researching it, that the U.S. and Turkey, the coalition forces, they have all supported the Islamic State. They've dropped weapons, they housed them, they clothed them, they funded them, they brought them into hospitals. And we see right now that Erdogan is pointing the finger at the United States. The United States will be pointing at Erdogan. Everyone is taking sides at this point because everything is falling apart. Everyone is going to be exposed right now. Now, will the United States government central bankers let it get that far? I don't think so. I think they're going to try to stop it with some type of false flag event, which has been brewing right now for quite a while. We see the Russian Defense Ministry. They are looking at the Tu-154 plane that crashed into the Black Sea on December 25th. And they were saying that this plane was making a right turn seconds before the disaster. at 500 kilometers per hour. They did find the black box. They're going to be looking at this. They're going to be decoding it to see what has actually happened. And we'll have to find out. We'll have to wait to see what the information is and what actually happened to this plane. We see Europol. Well, they're looking at the situation and they're saying that the Islamic State right now is actively targeting refugees to carry out terrorist attacks in the EU. And there's a real and imminent danger that we're going to see a lot more terrorist events. Yes, we are going to see all of this. Because now the central bankers, they are pushed back into a corner, and we're going to see event after event. And I think what we're going to see is the main event when they start bringing down the economy. And we already know that this is already started. They're sending messages to Russia by killing the Russian ambassador. They are sending messages to Erdogan by having the coup in Turkey. And we can see that things are going to start to unravel now. And as they unravel, they need to cover everything up. And to cover everything up, what do they need? They need some type of an event. And we're definitely going to see this as we move forward, because they already have the first part completed to make it look like the economy is back on track. No worries there. Now they need something to bring it all down. What are they going to use? Who are they going to blame? How are they going to get the war started? And we see already the U.S. government, the central bankers, they are provoking still the same countries. It has not stopped. And they're going to continually do this until they get this war started. And we're coming into this period of time where Trump is going to be inaugurated in January. Obama has a short period of time left. And at this point, as Trump moves into the White House, he might start to discover that this whole economy is one big, complete illusion. And they don't want him to come out and say, hey, this whole thing, this is fake. So what they'll do before any of this information is put out there is they will bring down the economy. They will create an event to keep everyone busy. It's almost like Wag the Dog, where they create this event, they create this a story, they create a false flag to distract everyone from what is really going on here. And we're heading into times, and things are rapidly accelerating at this point, that we're going to see this next event happen very soon. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.